Tenesalin. Today I'm going to teach you about cash and cash flow in particular. Companies fail because they run out of cash. And we've often heard the term cash is king, or if you're a female entrepreneur, cash is queen. Either way, cash, without it, you fail. With it, you succeed. Companies with more cash have the resources to hire the best talent, buy the best assets, negotiate best with their suppliers. And oftentimes, most entrepreneurs are intimidated when it comes to understanding their financial statements. And so they don't even look at them. All they know about is what is in the bank account, which is cash. But where does that cash come from? Where does it go? You could look at your financial reports and see that you're growing and going very big with your sales, and you look in your bank account and you're totally out of money. Why? Where did it go? What happened? So what I'm going to teach you today is what's called the 7 levers of cash flow. If you understand these 7 levers and then this simple equation I'm going to teach you, you will know more than most finance managers and accountants that graduate college, because you'll get how it works in your business. And when you get how it works, then you can start to manage it. And when you can start to manage it, you can control it. And when you start to control it, you can grow it, and you'll increase the likelihood that you'll be successful. So what are the 7 levers? The 7 levers of cash are: 1, price. You can increase the price of your products and get more cash in the door if everything else stays the same. 2, your costs of goods sold, the actual costs of the raw material, the labor, the direct factory costs that go into making that product. You can lower that down and increase cash, holding everything else the same. 3, volume. You can simply just sell more, keeping the price, the cost of the goods sold, everything else the same, and you'll increase cash. 4, you can lower your overhead. So lower this, increase that, lower that, increase that. These are levers. Think of yourself as a switchboard operator or somebody that's driving a ship. And these are the levers that will make you go faster or slower, get more cash, or consume more cash. These are generally fairly challenging things to control. So the next 3 are really critical. And the next 3 are the ones where I actually see most companies fail because they don't have a strong understanding of accounting, and they don't have a disciplined accountant working for them. And these 3 areas often get wildly out of control. And these actually are the areas where you can really have the biggest bang for your buck. The first of the last 3, number 5, is what's called accounts receivable, or AR. Accounts receivable are those accounts that you have with customers and you're waiting to receive a payment from them because you've already sold them something. Next is called accounts payable. And this is AP, and these are the accounts that you have with your vendors or your suppliers, and you pay them. And then finally, 7 is inventory. And this is the raw material, the unfinished goods, the products that you have lying around your factory. All of that money is sitting there. And so these 3 I want to focus in on because I want to teach you about the cash conversion cycle and how to get more cash in the door quickly. First off, I want you to Google a term DSO, DPO, and DIO. This is days of sales outstanding, days of payables outstanding, and days of inventory outstanding. These are simple equations that your accountant or finance manager can quickly calculate for you. And it gives you a number in days. And when you add or subtract these together, you get a very important number called the cash conversion cycle. Cash conversion cycle equals days of sales outstanding plus the days of inventory on hand minus the days of payables outstanding. And it's a very simple equation, but it will blow your mind. And this is how it works. Let's take our little company. You have your suppliers, you add value, and you have your customers. Now, where companies go into all sorts of problems is they pay their suppliers often right away on the spot. Then they build up inventory that often sits around the factory floor, and then they sell to customers on credit. And what that does is it moves money out here and out here, and you run out of cash and your company fails. So, how to fix this? It's quite simple. First, right away, what I want you to do is make sure that your accountant calculates these numbers for you. What is my accounts receivable? And what is the days of sales outstanding? What is my accounts payable? And what are the days of payables outstanding? And what is the inventory we have on hand? And what is our days of inventory on hand? And I want you to calculate this number. Small is good. Big is bad. If this number is up 30, 40, 50 days, that's dangerous. Often what happens is that this number is really big. That's bad. Days of sales outstanding. That means that you're giving your customers, you've invoiced your customers, and then you've gone off and done other work, and you've totally forgotten to call them up and go, did they ever pay me? Do I have money that a customer owes me? More often than not, the answer is yes. And then what it's doing is it's making this DSO number bigger and bigger and bigger. Anything more than 30 days, you're acting like a bank to your customers. You're giving them something and they're not paying you, and all of a sudden you're a bank, and that's a very bad thing to be. The next thing is down here, your days of payable outstanding. If this number is small, that's not good. So big, bad. Here, days of payables outstanding, small, bad. Really good companies, smart companies that have exceptional accountants and finance managers working for them, they call up their suppliers and go, I'm not going to pay you for 45 days. They call up their customers and say, hey, it's day 29, you owe me on day 30, would you please pay us? And by the way, thank you so much for being a wonderful customer. And then they send them a chocolate to thank them for paying them on time. But right there, you'll understand cash flow. You just won 15 days. You don't pay them for 45, you get them to pay you in 30. All of a sudden, you just got cash flooding into your company by making that simple change. And really, it's discipline. It's making sure that you know those numbers and making sure that you have a very strong accountant or finance manager working at your company. So my recommendation is for you. 1, know these 7 levers. 2, understand these 3 critical ones. 3 is to get your accountant to calculate these numbers. DSO, DPO, and then they should also calculate your DIO. This is your receivables manager. This is your payables manager, and this is your operations manager. And they're accountable for making sure that those numbers, here, big is bad as well. So you ultimately want small, small, big. And if that's the case, you're going to have tons of money in your account. You're going to have tons of money in your bank account. And you won't worry about the next virus, the next election, the next civil unrest, because you will be successful and ready. So start learning these numbers, get a clear understanding of how cash works, and make sure you start making this smaller and making this bigger and get cash in your door. I'm a second.